Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Tensions mounting in the Middle East over the U.S. strike that killed a top Iranian general. Overnight, a letter obtained from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on what Democrats are warning as the president threatens more attacks.
6 months after the strongest earthquake Southern California has seen in decades, the communities of Ridgecrest and Trona say they feel like they've been forgotten. 17's Kern returns to Ridgecrest to see how its people are recovering.
And Bakersfield City Council is closing in on choosing a site for a new low-barrier homeless shelter. You have one more chance to weigh in on where you believe it should go. We'll tell you how. This is Monday, January 6th, 2020. Good morning. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher, and we're talking about all of those stories this morning, plus some mounting tensions in the Middle East, and we want to show you that right now.
And we'll take you live to Tehran in just a bit. But first, we're taking a look at your forecast on this Monday morning, the first day back to school for all those teachers and students after a long Christmas break. Good morning, Kev.
Good morning. And yeah, there is a little bit of fog out there, but we've been so lucky in Bakersfield that we haven't seen the fog. It's right near the Kern County line. So up near Delano, we may be seeing a little bit of fog right now. And then we've got 1 mile visibility into Larry, Fresno, and 2 miles up near Merced. But Bakersfield is looking great at 10 miles visibility right now. So really, if you're traveling north, that's where the thickest of the fog is going to be. 44 degrees in Bakersfield right now. Definitely grab a jacket if you're headed out the door this morning. You have a light wind out of the southwest at 6. And as we take a look at the day here, patchy fog at best and the 40s to start. And then we'll be in the upper 50s, lower 60s throughout the afternoon. A light wind is expected. For Tehachapi, 25 degrees right now. You have a westerly wind at 5. Visibility is good at 10 miles, but definitely bundle up if you have to head out. And we will be looking at the 20s by 7 a.m. and then upper 40s, maybe a few lower 50s this afternoon under plenty of sunshine. More weather to come, but first let's get a check of the morning commute on this Monday and see how that's looking with Alex.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. Take you outside for the first time this morning. Here's a look at the 99 near White Lane, and as you can see, traffic is starting to pick up just a little bit, but it's looking pretty smooth on that side of town. Everything else around the county looking great to start off your Monday morning. Just keep in mind that especially if you're going north of the county today, you could run into some patchy fog, so keep that in mind. Give yourself a little bit of extra time, especially if you're driving north. But it's all looking pretty good here in Kern County. We'll have another check of your commute coming up in about 15 minutes. It is 5:02 and homelessness in Kern County is an issue we continue to follow very closely here at KGET. The city of Bakersfield wants to hear from you once more about the development of a new homeless center. The next public meeting is happening tomorrow at 6 p.m. The city of Bakersfield is looking at 2 possible locations for a new low-barrier shelter. The original proposal is a site on East Brundage Lane near Mount Vernon Avenue, while the alternative is a site on Brown and East 18th Street. The City Council revisits the shelter site issue on January 22nd. To weigh in and express your opinion, you can head to Mechanics Bank Arena tomorrow night at 6.
5:03 now, and just a reminder, Kern County's homelessness count is coming up. During the point-in-time count, hundreds of volunteers will fan out over Kern County to get an estimate of how many people are living without shelter. The count is happening January 24th at 3:30 a.m. To learn more about how you can sign up to volunteer, visit our website, kget.com.
Bakersfield police continue their efforts to disrupt local illegal street racing and keep you safe on our roads. BPD's street racing enforcement operation was underway again this weekend. It started at 8 p.m. on Saturday night and ended at 2 a.m. on Sunday. There were 10 traffic stops, according to BPD, 7 citations, and 2 impounded vehicles. Police say this operation will continue in the next several weeks in an effort to reduce street racing in Bakersfield. A man is recovering in the hospital after being shot in McFarland. It happened around 7:30 on Saturday night near the intersection of East Kern Avenue and Browning Road. McFarland police say a man was shot and taken to the hospital. Officers did not give us his condition, but they say he is stable. Police have not released information on who they believe is the shooter.
5:04 now, a family searching for answers after their 25-year-old son disappeared in Sacramento on New Year's Eve. Family members say Alexander Holden was last seen in the downtown Sacramento area around 2 a.m. Tuesday. Friends posted flyers around the city and visited places he frequents, but so far, no sign. Law enforcement has used canines to help in the search. Holden's parents, both judges, say they're concerned because it's unlike him to not check in. He's 6'2", or about 190 pounds, with brown hair and green eyes.
A man charged in the deadly stabbing of a Bay Area teen is expected to appear in court later today. John Lee Cowell is charged with murder for allegedly stabbing and killing 18-year-old Nia Wilson at the MacArthur BART station in Oakland back in 2018. He's also charged with the attempted murder of Wilson's sister. Wilson's murder gained national attention after police described it as a prison yard type assault. Many people push for the case to be considered a hate crime since Cowell is white.
A local woman's leading a cleanup effort to restore the Cesar Chavez mural downtown. Here's footage taken from earlier yesterday. The Hub of Bakersfield, a nonprofit that commissioned the mural, hired Alice Prescott White to remove the graffiti from it. Prescott White is in the rare field of fine art conservation. She says she was happy to be part of restoring such a monumental piece of work.
I was happy to save this beautiful painting, and as I said, you know, the nonprofit HUB Hub, you know, made history by commissioning this painting, and it was important to preserve it. It's a beautiful addition to Bakersfield.
Cleanup efforts started Saturday morning.
It looks good as new now. Well, you may remember we told you about how dozens of teddy bears meant for sick children were stolen from a local church. But thanks to support from our community, their donation box is now overflowing. The bear donation drive was organized by Teen Miss Kern River Valley, Callie Clausen, who says her own experience in the hospital made her want to give back. Last week, a donation box was set up at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Church on Rayna Road, and in a matter of days, 10 teddy bears were in the box. Then one day, church officials say they noticed all the bears were gone, apparently stolen during the busy holiday season. After a call to the community for help, donations exceeded all expectations.
People were generous enough and were touched by the story and responded in a great way.
Clausen had hoped to collect 50 teddy bears, but now the box is overfilled with toys for hospitalized kids.
Do you know a teen who's always dreamed of being a firefighter? The Bakersfield Fire Department's currently looking for fire explorers, but today's the last day to apply. Explorers participate in meetings, drills, and more. Applicants must pass a series of tests and training. After they may be eligible to ride along with the fire department for real emergency calls. To apply, send in your completed application to the Bakersfield Fire Department headquarters on H Street. For a full list of requirements and how, again, to apply, because today's the deadline, go to our website, kget.com.
Yeah, and again, today is the deadline to apply for that program. All right, your time now is 5:08, and returning to Ridgecrest 6 months after huge quakes jolted the city.
17th Karen spoke with people still struggling to rebuild.
And we're looking at a beautiful day, a little bit of fog in some areas. We'll talk more about that and what we can expect, because there's also a chance of rain in your forecast.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News with Maddie Jansen, Alex Fisher, and Kevin Charette with your Pinpoint Doppler forecast. This is 17 News at Sunrise.
Welcome back. This morning, people in Puerto Rico are picking up the pieces after a strong earthquake shook the island just hours ago. Take a look at our map here that updates in real time. Now, the epicenter is near San Juan. It's about 60 miles from San Juan, and this was a 5.8 magnitude earthquake. It all happened on the southwest side of the island, and the shaking was strongest in the area of Mar Caribe. Reports of damage and landslides are being reported. Several smaller foreshocks happened over the past week, so we'll keep you updated on this and let you know if there was any more damage or if there were any aftershocks. Well, 6 months after a magnitude 6.4 and 7.1 earthquakes hit Ridgecrest, the city is still rebuilding and reeling from constant aftershocks.
We sent 17th Karen back to the area last week to see how people are recovering.
While some damage in Ridgecrest has been repaired, it's people in mobile homes who've been hit the hardest, people who had the least to begin with, who are still struggling.
It really hurts.
For Bridget Scoggin, this is reality.
I was inside the house when it collapsed to the side.
This house was her dream.
It was going to be mine.
Her pride and joy.
I was buying it to own it.
Now,
it's destroyed. The floor jacks came up from the ground. There's big cracks in the walls, in the ceiling.
Her furniture, food, almost everything she owned.
Most of it got left or ruined.
And she's not alone.
There's 30 mobile homes here in this park alone that went down, and people has had to sign it over because there was no help.
To this day, those homes remain knocked off their foundations, still red tagged, no repairs in sight.
Yeah, she's lost a lot.
But what she hasn't lost is a community to lift her up. 2 months after the earthquakes, the local Lions Club partnered with the Grace Lutheran Church to buy Bridget a new mobile home.
We were able to give her things like silverware and basic needs like shampoo, conditioner, and things like that. She has a home due to the community. She doesn't have a home due to just one person or one group.
With $60,000 from individual donors, the club helped house more than 100 people like her.
I liked the fact that Ridgecrest draws together when there's a time of need. Your level.
Thank you. Thank you. Without them, I would not even have this. I would literally be in a dining room on an air mattress or out on the streets.
Her new home sits just blocks away from her old one.
So I'm grateful to have this, but I miss my home.
A reminder of her loss, a reminder of her trauma, a reminder how there's hundreds more like her who need support.
Don't forget Ridgecrest. You know, we may be a small town, but people are suffering still, and they need help.
Karen Hua, 17 News.
And Karen is going to be continuing these reports on Ridgecrest and what the rebuilding process looks like for people there and in the surrounding communities. She has a series of reports coming up later tonight at 5, and then we're going to continue them this week on Sunrise and the news at 5 and 6.
Again, it's only been 6 months since those earthquakes, and although a lot of people have already moved on, for those people, they're still reeling from this tragedy. And it truly was a tragedy because not only was there not only was there the damage that is visible, but there's also the emotional damage as well. That's going to take a lot of time to kind of recover.
All right, well, stay with us for those reports this week. Still ahead, looking for a job?
Yeah, some of the best places around the nation to get hired.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
It's 5:24 now. United Van Lines has released its National Mover Study, which analyzed data from each state last year. States highlighted in yellow saw more outbound moves. States in blue, more inbound moves. New Jersey experienced the highest number of departures among all states. More than 2/3 of all New Jersey moves were outbound in 2019. This was the second year in a row the Garden State led the country in the percentage of departures. Illinois and New York round out the top 3 states with the most outbound moves. Popular destinations include Idaho and Florida, the moving service found. A job's among the top reason people move, and Wallet Hub is out with a list of the strongest job markets in the country. Arizona's hiring. 3 Grand Canyon state cities are in the top 10, Scottsdale, Chandler, and Tempe. California had 2 cities in the top 10. San Francisco came in 3rd. Fremont was number 5. Also on the list, Bakersfield at 150. Wallet Hub compared more than 180 cities across 31 key metrics. The data set ranges from job opportunities to employment growth to monthly average starting salaries. Another potential hurdle for Boeing, the company acknowledged Sunday there's another potential issue with its 737 MAX. The New York Times reports Boeing and regulators say there are concerns about the wiring. Spokesman Gordon Jondro says the company's highest priority is ensuring the 737 MAX meets all safety and regulatory requirements. He added that Boeing's working with the FAA and others to make sure the design is safe and compliant. The MAX was grounded in early 2019 following 2 deadly crashes caused by issues with a different system. Boeing's still waiting for regulators' approval to return to flight. Jandro says it's too soon to tell if the analysis will result in design changes.
Having trouble sticking to your New Year's resolution? Well, if you made financial ones, the outcome could be expensive. Here's NBC's Chris Clackham.
A week into the new year, where a top resolution for many is to pay down debt.
Make sure you start the new year with a plan to pay down that debt, starting with the highest interest debt first.
Investopedia's chief editor, Caleb Silver, says there's plenty of advice out there about how to pay down debt, especially the debt accumulated over the holidays. Although most people have a fear of knowing what they spent.
Make sure you understand how much you have in the bank, how much debt you have, how much savings you have, and how much you can increase your savings and start to invest in the new year.
He advises direct deposit as the easiest way to do both.
Even if it's $20, $40, $60 a month to put into your savings or to put towards debt payment.
He also falls back on the old adage that the best day to start investing was yesterday. The second best is today. Chris Clackham, NBC News.